Hi, good evening. I'm Susan Pierce, a naturopathic life coach here with Eaton's Living TV, and I have the phenomenal Dr. Delane Graytop, naturopathic doctor. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Love to have you down here from all the way from Connecticut, New York area.
Yes.
And I wanted to just talk about naturopathy. You hear all these buzzwords of going all natural. What is a naturopathic doctor?
So yeah, we use the words naturopathic versus allopathic. So allopathic is kind of Western medicine. It's the traditional MD that you see, your primary care physician, that kind of thing. And then we have the naturopathic medicine, which we are also trained as primary care physicians. However, there's a very big paradigm shift. It's different than the traditional Western or allopathic. We go for treating the cause. So whereas an allopathic might look at your symptoms and want to just treat your symptoms
through pharmaceuticals.
Through pharmaceuticals, mostly, or surgery or anything like that. We're more likely to go, first of all, we want to look at the root cause. What is the root cause? That is the biggest paradigm difference between naturopathic medicine and allopathic is we look for a root cause, we look to remove the root cause and then support the body to allow it to heal itself.
Right.
Because we know the body has an innate sense of healing and homeostasis. It wants to get back to healing.
If we just step out of the way and give it what it needs to heal.
Yes. And nobody has a pharmaceutical deficiency, let's be clear.
That's clear.
Right? So God made us the way we're supposed to, and we heal. And our body can heal if we remove the obstacles to cure. And that's kind of what naturopathic versus the paradigm shift is.
What do you find is the leading cause? Like, you see a lot of chronic diseases. What do you feel as a naturopathic doctor? What do you really try to get to the root cause?
Well, I think a lot of it's nutrition, obviously. Getting back to the Garden of Eden. I love that because it really is about nutrition. It really is about eating what grows on the ground for us. And a lot of people, nutrition causes inflammation. It causes food sensitivities and things like that are causing a lot of problems that people wouldn't normally think of, I think. When you have nutritional deficiencies, it will stop body processes. It will stop, you don't have the cofactors to make the energy you need. You don't have what you need to heal.
You don't have the fuel in the tank.
You do not have the fuel in the tank, correct.
Wow.
And so that nutritional deficiency and nutritional malabsorption, that's a very common pattern. Another one is with chronic illness, people will miss where the beginning started, and they'll come in at the end and say, oh, I have this pain, and we kind of go all the way back to the beginning. Like, when did some of the first parts
start? Was there a traumatic event in your life?
Yes, mind, body, spirit, all of it. There's a lot to health. It's not just, oh, I'm going to give you this nutrient, or I'm going to give you this pharmaceutical, or I'm going to give you this. It's encompassing what's going on in your life, what's going on in your body, and what's going on, in your world around you, environmental illness as well. Are you exposed to anything in your house, in your work, in the air?
And people don't realize naturopathic doctors, let's talk about the training of naturopathy. Let's talk about the difference between, because you go to like 4-year medical school.
Absolutely.
People don't understand that.
Yes, absolutely. Our first 2 years of medical school are very similar to standard MD medical school with the labs, the cadaver labs, all of it. We learn strictly anatomy, physiology, pathology.
Integrative
we actually have to have 250 hours more pharmacology than a standard medical doctor.
I did not realize that.
Because we have botanical medicine and we need to understand the crosses between the botanical medicine and pharmacology, because a lot of our patients are on pharmaceuticals.
They can have cross reactions.
That's right. And so we are required actually to have more pharmacology than a standard medical doctor.
You run blood tests just like anybody else and can interpret
we do
their data.
Blood tests, we do saliva, urine, imaging, all of that. And we learn and we interpret the data. We just may give something different. We may choose to do a lifestyle change and then incorporate herbs to help along that lifestyle change, or supplementations, and at some points pharmaceuticals. Naturopathic licensure, it differs in a lot of states. So on the West Coast we have pharmaceutical licensure, on the East Coast we do not. So it's we're at 21 states right now that have naturopathic licensure, and so it goes state by state.
So you do really try, if they come on with a lot of pharmaceutical agents, obviously you want to try to get them on natural supplements and herbs.
Yes,
so let's talk about that, how you get people off the synthetic back to more of a because that's what I preach, is nature heals.
Absolutely. And I think that what I see mostly when I see a patient is I see that the blood work has not been done to the extent to give you the information you need.
Right.
So a lot of people have vitamin D deficiency, for example, especially
or
on the East Coast.
And leaky gut
Leaky
too.
gut is a big thing. That's malabsorption. So they're not getting the nutrients they need, or it's going in a form that the body doesn't recognize, so the body's attacking it versus using it as a nutrient. So yes, we see a lot of that. And so what we like to do is, one of my first things is I always go to heal the gut first so you can get the nutrients, because I can throw a bunch of nutrients at you, and if you can't absorb them, that's kind of a waste.
Do you do like genetic testing too? Let's talk about that.
I do. I think that will be on our show for the epigenetics of environmental, but I do a lot of genetic testing, yes, myself, because I do believe in, there's certain people who can't break down B complex or B12, for example. There's an MTHFR mutation that a lot of people have that's overlooked a lot, and so they could be taking B12 and not being able to process it, not being able.
If you can't process it, you
if you can't absorb it, it does nothing.
Folic acid.
That's right.
You take too much folic acid, toxic level, make you sick.
Absolutely.
So doctors
if
don't
you
do that. Medical doctors don't ask me what I eat. They've never asked me what I eat.
They really only have one class in nutrition.
And y'all had how many versus?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years of clinical nutrition
versus one class of nutrition.
Yes,
and
I also have a master's in human nutrition as well, a master's in science and human, on top of that. So I'm very, very into nutrition.
So you really do try to come in. All right, as a patient coming in to see you, what would we do? What would a normal call at a naturopath look like?
Okay, so normally we're going to come in. I start out with a quick visit to determine what you want to focus on, what is the most pressing problem that's happening, and then I go right to blood work for me. I want to get everything. I get what I call a functional medicine panel, which is all the nutrients I can test for you. I do extensive thyroid testing, hormone testing, cholesterol, full cholesterol panels, and all of the things that are give me all
IgE antibodies, probably looking at inflammation.
I do antibodies, cortisol. Yes, and so we see kind of a big picture with a baseline. And then we decide, do you want a food sensitivity test, or are we going to look into that? And then we look to see what are the most pressing problems, and compliance is a big part, because naturopathic medicine is not a quick fix. It's not a purple pill.
No, it's not pop the magic pill.
It's going to be a lifestyle change. Right. And so that is
Which takes effort.
It does. It takes effort and dedication.
Yes.
It really does.
To change everything you're eating, to change everything that brings you comfort.
Yes.
Because sugar oxidizes you. A lot of people don't realize sugar creates wrinkles.
It also shuts down your immune system for 6 hours after you ingest it.
People out there, stop eating sugar.
I have to agree.
Sugar is crack as whack. It's like it's 8 times more addictive than crack cocaine. It changes your brain.
It really is, and it does, and it actually spikes dopamine receptors. So it's very similar to the addictive cycle. So you see a lot of people
up that limbic system.
Yes, it really does, and so you see a lot of ex-addicts, now sugar addicts, because they're still looking for the dopamine.
An addict is an addict is an addict. Even food addicts.
Foods, definitely.
Food's a huge, a lot of my clients are food addicts. That's how they cope. They're numbing their emotions.
And the thing is, and you say food addict, but they're really not craving 9 things of broccoli. They're eating, Twizzlers.
Right, yeah.
Or whatever they're eating sugar. So when they're going for a chemical change in their body, they're looking to raise their serotonin or their dopamine to feel better, and that's really a chemical reaction, and that's more of a looking for happy in a physiological way by eating what I would call not food.
So you really do
approach
the whole body as mind, body, soul. You understand that if one area is like a 3-legged cart, if one of those legs are off, you're not going to be at homeostasis.
No, absolutely not. I could give you all the right food, I could give you all the right nutrients, and if you go to a job that you hate every single day and you're stressed out every single day,
that high cortisol shoots through the roof.
Yeah, your vitamin C stores deplete, your magnesium depletes, and you're basically chasing the dragon, trying to. So you have to look at all sections.
And that's the huge difference between allopathic and naturopathic. They treat the body as a whole.
Yes.
And they also teach you. Let's talk about the teaching and empowering people. How do you empower people in your practice?
Well, I find I'm very lucky and fortunate that out on the East Coast, they're very well-educated patients. I'm very fortunate for that, for where I practice. But I think that the key is to find what does a person love? Like, if you hate running, I'm not going to prescribe.
Right.
You should start a running regimen.
Right.
If you love to, play in the water or whatever, everyone's individual, and that is the keynote of naturopathic medicine is to treat the person as an individual person. One diet doesn't work for everyone. One supplement doesn't work for everyone.
One prescription doesn't work the same for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't like synthetic prescriptions. Anything you can take a pill for, we get it from plants. Why not go back to the garden?
Pharmaceuticals were originally, derived from plants.
Yeah, we get it from plants. So I knew when I changed my diet, I had a lot of inflammation, a lot of pain, had to cut the sugars out, had to get more of a paleo-type diet, start incorporating movement and hydration with spring living water.
Hydration is
key.
The key, speaking of which.
It's so key.
It is, absolutely. I think water is the most underutilized treatment of everything. If I could say anything, water, just add more water to your diet.
86% water anyway, and if people aren't hydrating all day long, that's when you have problems. So we've talked about the training in naturopath, and we've talked about the mind, body, soul. So who needs a naturopath doctor? Who out there really? Well, everybody, really.
Everybody. I don't know if there's enough of us to go around, but I would say everybody, honestly. Because I think what is being missed is I see a lot of people fall through the cracks in chronic illness. I think when doctors don't have a solid idea of what's going on, they tend to either think the patient's making it up, or maybe they're a little more of a hypochondriac or something, if they don't have an answer. And I see a lot of that. I think naturopathic doctors get a lot of the tail end of things. Like, I've tried everything, so I'm finally going to go to a naturopathic doctor.
I've tried it all.
I've tried everything, so maybe I'll think about changing my lifestyle and really get to. So I kind of see a lot of the end sections of things where you've tried everything else and nothing's worked. But I think everyone could use it because we teach preventative medicine. And it's better for you to get in early to learn the lifestyle stuff that you need to learn so you can age gracefully and healthfully and not on a, you don't want to be disabled when you're older. You don't want to
be on 14 different drugs the rest of your life.
Yes,
that's just a Band-Aid.
In a house and, or in the hospital. You want to start now, and you want to start getting your lifestyle in a way that is working for you and your health. And it's individual for everyone.
And you really do teach. I mean, that's one thing about naturopathy that kind of steered me into the naturopathic realm. That's why I teach with my people. I really try to look at their mind, body, soul, and look at their diets, look at their sleep schedule, look to see if their hormones level or libido is on point. I mean, a lot of people are having marital problems because they're having physical problems, and then they get anxious and depressed, and it's just a spiral. Then they start popping pills just to feel numb. Take your Ambien to go to sleep and not remember anything.
And that doesn't let you go into REM sleep.
No.
And
it's all these drugs.
Now your cortisol's going off. And so cortisol, honestly, is one of the highest, the stress
hormones. Right.
Yes.
That fight or flight.
And we don't need that. No. We don't need the fight or flight all the time, but sometimes when you're at work, you get stressed out and you go into that. Cortisol is produced, it's running through your body has to take care of that. It's a lot. Stress, especially obviously in the New York City area.
Stress
we do a lot of stress management out there.
What types of things? Because naturopathy, the 6 principles that you do become a teacher. We do,
doctor as teacher.
How do you teach your clients that come in? What are your main focus of trying to teach them?
Well, I think because I've had a lot of experience, obviously I went into naturopathic medicine for my own. My original degree was public speaking and film. So I had to do 3 years of pre-med to even get into med school because I had a bachelor's. But I believe because I've had my own health issues, I'm able to motivate or at least relate to my patients enough to say, I know that changing your diet is terrible. I know
You've lived it. Well, tell the audience some of your issues. You almost died from Lyme disease and mold exposure.
Yes.
Four huge times of mold.
4 different mold exposures.
How much you gained?
100 pounds in a year.
100 pounds after not changing eating habits. Doctors thought you were just eating your feelings.
Yes.
Now, mold was destroying her mind and her body.
Yes, and
So
you will be, you will be told that it's your fault, and you've clearly, going to McDonald's at night on Ambien.
Yes, it's not your fault.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I do advocate a lot. I do a lot of body positive advocacy because I do believe that weight is a symptom and it's not a diagnosis. And I think that's lazy medicine when you don't look at why when someone's telling you I didn't change my diet and I'm gaining all this weight.
Actually, that saved your life. You want to touch on that a little bit? The mold saved your life of you gaining 100 and something pounds.
Yes, because
if she had not gained the weight, the mold would have taken you out.
The mold would have attacked my vital organs.
You lost
absolutely.
a cat and a dog.
I did. Yes.
Animals are very sensitive to mold.
They are.
Mold is very serious.
Mold is very serious and very
Don't
deadly.
play around, especially black
yes.
mold. It kills.
Yes, and now I've been obviously a body positive advocate for a long time.
Tell me your Facebook page with your body, your Invisible Me, you're making a movie?
Invisible Me is the documentary in regards that I made during medical school, yes. And then Doc Body Beauty is my Instagram, which is body positive because...
I love that you're body positive. I love that.
Because people look at overweight and they think unhealthy, like they're not doing anything.
I used to be that way until I figured it was the corticosteroids, it was the opiates, it was the 14 prescriptions, it was laying in bed all day, inactive. So I get it. You have to walk through that to understand how hard it is to change your life.
And there are people, I would tell you that the majority of women I see that have weight on them know more about diet and nutrition than most doctors because they have been trying
their whole
lives to lose weight with diet and exercise.
But they hadn't gotten to the high cortisol or the
or maybe they have heavy metals.
Yeah, heavy metal toxicity or the hormones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's
environmental toxicity is a lot of why we're sick.
Huge.
We'll talk about that on another show.
That's yes.
But when you're coming in and empowering your naturopathic client, you're teaching them how to eat correctly. You're teaching them. Go ahead and just tell me
why. You teach them why.
Why water?
Why water? Exactly, because we are 3/4 of us is water. You need water to flush out toxins. You need to help your kidneys. How's your body going to get rid of the stuff? Correct.
Get your lymphatics flowing.
And they say, so you eat about half your body weight in water. If you could drink half your body weight in water.
I try to do a gallon a day.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. It takes your kidneys about 3 weeks to get used to that. So you have to slowly build up to it. But yes, water will change your life.
How about sleeping habits? How do you help your patients to come in and really struggle if they've got the chronic fatigue, if they're hopeless, they've got the autoimmunity, they've got the high cortisol, their hormones are all over the board?
I do see, and this is where naturopathic medicine will come in to help with some nutrients to help you get to the homeostasis. Like, for example, I use melatonin a lot because people with high cortisol, melatonin is the natural chemical that happens at night.
They're not producing
the melatonin because their cortisol is usually very high at night. And so
first thing in the morning when you wake up, the shaking.
That's when it should be high, but a lot of people who have high cortisol do not have any in the morning. They're tired.
Right.
So what we try to do is regulate that hormone balance, and the way we do that is sometimes by introducing what your body naturally needs, and then once you are regulated, your body will produce it. This isn't stuff that we don't put people on things for the rest of their life.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be on a pill the rest of your life.
Correct.
You're not supposed to be managed care. I want to go to a doctor that's going to find the root cause of disease, tell me why I'm chronically tired, tell me why I'm not sleeping at night, tell me why I'm having irritable bowel and stomach issues because I'm not managing my stress. I'm not eating a paleo-type organic diet, getting all the chemicals and the dyes and the preservatives. All that accumulates in the body.
And your liver has to do with it.
And it creates toxic liver, which creates anger issues.
It does.
A lot of anger issues.
People do not even understand that.
Exhibit A for 2 years. I didn't know I needed to start doing dandelion tea to come in and flush out my body. It's like you mentioned in naturopathy, you treat the body as a whole. The body is like a pump. If one part of the car of your carburetor goes out, you're not going to go anywhere. If you don't put really good fuel in your tank, you're not going to get where you need to go.
Absolutely.
And you have to approach the mind, body, and soul.
And if you can't absorb your fuel,
If you can't even get the right nutrition to enable your body to absorb it, you're wasting your money on food and all these supplements.
And supplements. I have to say one thing about supplement quality. Honestly, like, you can hear that magnesium is good for you, and if you go
to
CVS or Costco and buy magnesium,
it's not going to work.
I had a funny story about a patient that came in and her magnesium levels were low in the blood.
Right.
And I said, gosh, you really need some magnesium. She says, what? I'm taking 1,500 milligrams a day. And I was like, you're taking 1,500?
1,500.
Yeah, she was taking 1,500 a day. I said, could you bring in your supplement? So she brings it in, and it looks very fancy and medical. It's very fancy bottle. And I pull it out, and it's bright blue, like one of those colors, bright blue. And I was like, okay, what's that coated in?
Magnesium, yeah.
First of all, it's a tablet, which are the hardest to absorb in general because they have binders, and a lot of people can't break them open. But I literally took the bottle and I tried to smash it.
It wouldn't?
It wouldn't even open.
So she was not even absorbing the calcium.
In the ingredients, one of the first ingredients was shellac. I was like,
wow.
You know, they put that on your deck, so if anything acidic falls, it won't ruin your wood.
And your stomach is acidic.
So
she wasn't ever, she was throwing her money,
just going right
her money out. Yep.
No, there's an actual funny story. There's a Porta-John study they did, actually, and they were literally looking for something else in this thing, and they had Porta-John collect all this excrement.
Right.
And in the end, what they found were mountains of those one-a-day vitamins.
Wow. Completely not even
nothing.
Digested.
Same colors, just a big
kind of like corn. When you
just went right through, one a day, right through, yeah.
All that waste of money and then going into a water supply too.
And then people are like, why don't these supplements work? Well,
they're not biodegradable. You're not
taking the right form. You're not taking it in absorbable. It's not in a gelatin capsule, so you can break it open
and all that
easily.
matters. I mean, that's why I tell people you need a naturopathic or integrative or functional medicine doctor.
You need someone
that's going to look at your leaky gut.
Yes.
Get your vitamins and supplements and whatever minerals. You need 84 trace minerals to be healthy. So many people don't even get enough trace minerals.
Oh, absolutely
Then
not.
their processed sugar and their processed salt that they're eating. And then they're using all these bad canola oils.
Ugh.
All of these Crisco that I grew up Mississippi on. These oils. Let's talk about how a little bit real quickly. I know this is off subject.
Yes.
But when you ingest these oils, it's affecting your nerve pathways. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Honestly, the oils are very toxic.
Huge,
They oxidize.
They're carcinogen when you heat olive oil. When you heat all these oils up.
You really have to look at set points of oils. There's certain oils you can heat high, and they will be fine.
I learned about coconut oil. It took me 2 years, and a friend's like, she's a chef. She's like, you know, you're creating carcinogens when you do coconut oil high heat.
Yep.
I was like, well, what do I use? She's like, almond oil, sesame seed oil.
Sesame seed, yep.
Coconut oil, not olive oil. You don't want to heat in olive oil.
That's true. Yes, you leave that for your salads.
Leave that for your salads.
That's why it's cold pressed. Because
yes. See, a naturopath understands this. This is the difference. No doctor in all the times in my 20 years trying to recover from a 5-car polyp, got on 14 different medications. I was hopeless, having side effect, because they don't know what one drug does to another drug, does to another drug. There's no clinical studies.
Yeah.
And then what is a pathway? Let's talk about how pharmaceuticals come in and blocks the pathway where your body and your brain can communicate. Let's talk about pathways real quick.
So yeah, a lot of pharmaceuticals basically go in, and so like for example, a pain pharmaceutical might just block the signal to your brain saying that you have pain. So you're still having an inflammatory process, but you're not getting the signal. Because pain is a signal to your brain. Something's happening.
So it's a red flag going, help me,
something
help
wrong.
me.
Same with weight. You gain weight. Weight is a signal. I'm being exposed. Weight is a storage vehicle. It stores toxins. It saves your organs. So same thing. If you take a pharmaceutical that blocks the pathway that says, okay, well, I'm not in pain, well, you continue to go about your day, and your inflammatory thing didn't change. You still have the inflammation. So we need to go back to what's causing the inflammation.
It's the root cause.
Right, and then stop it from there
Instead of masking it with drugs.
Yes.
Drugs are never the solution.
We can't Band-Aid.
No, you can't Band-Aid things like
solutions.
that. If you get down to the fact that you're not absorbing your minerals or your vitamins, your gut's possibly leaking, which causes the cognitive decline, leaky gut, leaky brain.
Absolutely.
People are not moving. They're behind a cubicle or they're on their phone or computer all day long.
Any form of movement
is key. Movement is key.
And whatever
in healing.
you love, you should be doing what you love.
Yes.
I'm not going to run on pavement because I don't want to. but I will hike in the woods all day long. So whatever you love, if you love to play tennis, go play tennis.
Right.
You know, it should be making you happy as well. It shouldn't be just, you know, it shouldn't be a prescription of like, I have to exercise.
Right.
And if it's making you miserable, that's just.
How would someone find a naturopath? Is there a database? I know the NDNR has a database.
Yes, NDNR has a database. Also, naturopathic.org, www.naturopathic.org is our national
registry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And it's our national group, and they have listings of all of the licensed naturopathic doctors. So there is, you know, there's licensed doctors.
Right.
Like myself that go into medical school, and there are some correspondence school degrees.
I'm going to stick with the medical school myself,
yes,
even though I'm a life coach and do a lot of naturopathy with my clients, but it's basically being a nutritional specialist.
That's right.
Helping them with their body and soul. All right, what would you like to leave our audience? We've got about 2 minutes here, so go ahead and tell us what would you really want the audience to know about naturopathic medicine, and then how to contact you. What is your website? And I know you're a concierge doctor up in the New York, Connecticut area. So
yes, I am. I actually do, and I do consults over the phone for all over the country actually as well, second consults. Because what I would say the take-home message would be is that you are not imagining your symptoms, and if you have a symptom, it is telling you something. And
listen to your body.
Listen to your body, because it will tell you. And don't go looking to mask the symptoms. Go looking for the symptom cause. And if you don't want to look for it, then that's where the naturopathic doctor comes in. Is we find the root cause.
And y'all even have your own journals?
And we do. We have NDNR, which is a wonderful journal for, she's the publisher, and that's for doctors, but we also have Naturopath, which is on Facebook, which is for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, the Naturopath. We can you can go on that group as well. And I would say that, you know, to go look for a naturopathic doctor if you're not getting the answers you need, and you know you're tired, and you know you don't feel like yourself. That's the time.
And you do know yourself better than any doctor.
That's the time.
Your body has an innate ability to heal itself. All right, go ahead and tell us how we can get a hold of you through your website.
Yes, it's www.integrativemedicalconsulting.com. And you can get a hold of me through there. You can email me.
And you do Skypes throughout the whole country. And can you do blood work from afar as well, too?
Yes, you know, I actually have a lab that's wonderful that can find a place around you to do it if we need extra stuff.
Wonderful.
And I can read your doctor's blood work and things like that. And we can always figure it out.
Right.
I love the investigation of a
Well, thank you for coming
patient.
on.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it. Naturopathy is the way to go. If you like
is.
programs like this, y'all be sure to tune in. We're going to be on Saturdays and also Thursday mornings.
This is
and I'm
wonderful.
trying to bring in integrative doctors to give you a choice between allopathic or functional, integrative, naturopathic ways your body can heal. Thanks for tuning in.